Hello, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and this is my daily ramble. Now, if you're new to the channel, as I always say, please subscribe, hit that bell notification button so that you know when we're on and when we're streaming. And also, most importantly, please drop a like on the video, please. Drop a comment in there as well. Once we've let me know what your thoughts are on the topics that we're about to discuss, of which there are many. Now, got a new little talking points panel for you now, so you can keep track of where we are. So first of all, Pablo Fornals. We know that he wanted to move in this window. He's been linked with all manner of clubs. Sevilla were after him. Betis were after him. There were a couple of clubs in Turkey. Saudi were rumoured to be going in for him as well. However, he poo-pooed that himself because he doesn't want to move to Saudi. He's got a young family and he's a football man. So I wouldn't expect that to happen anyway. But look, he didn't leave in the summer. But we know he's only got a year left on his contract, and he has an option to extend it himself. It's not unilateral. It's something that he has to agree to, and he doesn't agree. He's going to leave. So we're either going to have to sell him in January or lose him on a free in the summer. That's his decision. We've offered him a new contract, and he's turned it down. So that's what I'm being told. It's coming from me from the agent effectively. That is what's going to be happening. So we're going to have to adjust to the fact that Pablo Fornals will be leaving the club, which is such a shame. It's such a shame. He's one of my favourite players, Pablo, and it's going to be dreadful to see him. I mean, the only saving grace is he's going to go back to Spain. So he's not going to be playing in someone else's colours in this country. But I just feel like he's been hard done by. I feel like he always gives 100%. Always has done. Has always kind of put a shift in. He doesn't always... He's not the best left winger, and that's where he's been utilised. And we know that he's better centrally, and that's kind of... He rarely gets used. He rarely gets used deployed centrally. But he's such a great number 10, such a talented player. And a player that really gets the club as well. He really, really gets the club. And I'm going to be choked to see him leave. And this is just yet more fallout from last season. You know, it's a bit of a mass cull. You know, all of the players, I suppose, that had an issue with David Moyes and whatever else, they're slowly being weeded out and replaced. Let's hope they're not replaced with more miserable players this season. If things go the way that they did last year, because look, providing we're winning and we're successful, we'll be okay. But I mean, let me know what your thoughts are on Pablo. I'm a little bit devastated about that. Look, at the end of the day, it could be something more than football. It could be like a life decision. He could be choosing to go back to Spain because he's got his young family and he wants to go and live there. You know, why wouldn't you? To be quite honest, I'd rather live in Seville than Stratford. You know, not that he probably lives in Stratford. He's probably got a nice spread somewhere, isn't he, in Chigwell? But yeah, so it's gonna be absolutely gutted when he goes. I think we'll probably let him go in January because we're not that big a club that we can afford to take a hit on him in the for a free. You know, he's still. I think if he had a contract, because he's 27 at the moment, if he had a contract and somebody was buying him out of it, we'd be looking at 25 to 30 million. But you'll probably look at about 10 million with 6 months left, I would have thought. Although I don't know, from Spanish clubs, they haven't got any money, have they? Sevilla, they haven't got any money. So what would you do? We'll have to wait and see. But long term, he's gone. So we've got at the very most, the maximum, we've got one more year of Pablo. The next one is Mohamed Kudus. We've all been scratching our heads as we've kind of got to understand the positions that Kudus occupies on a football pitch. We've all been scratching our heads thinking, how is he going to move in? Some people have suggested that Jared Bowen's going to move up and play centrally as a striker, and Kudus is going to play on the right-hand side. Well, I think we're half right. From what I've been told, the story is, again, this is agent-led. Bowen isn't signing a new contract, irrespective of the fact that he's married to Danny Dyer and who her dad is. Is he married? I don't know whether he is or not, but whatever. He's got kids with her. He's not signing a new contract, and he's in exactly the same situation as Pablo. He's got 2 years left, and 2 years left, and we definitely can't let him go for nothing. So if he doesn't sign a new contract this year, he's another one. We won't be letting him go in January because we can't. But he's another one that we will be selling in January next year if he doesn't sign a contract. And from what we're being told, he's not going to. Now, from the agent is saying, and this isn't me stirring the Moyes pot, by the way, because we said the same thing last year, and there's other channels that have said the same thing because he shares a similar agent to Souček, who did sign a deal, but we're talking about a different level of player. The agent is saying that Moyes is the problem and Bowen doesn't want to play for him long term. He won't sign a contract while Moyes is here. It isn't the club, it's the manager. So again, maybe what they'll do is they'll ride it out this year. If David Moyes does do his last year, then we change manager. Maybe it'll all be okay. I don't know, but you're running a bit of a risk, and running it into his last year, because then he's got a decision to make. Then he can kind of, well, yeah, he can. He can go 12 more months. I can go 12 more months. I can go on a free. So look, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But that's another one. So Kudus could actually be the Bowen replacement. A lot of us were saying it was going to be the Paqueta replacement, because that's another one that we could be losing either in January or in the summer, unless he ends up banned. Either way, we'll need a replacement for him. But yeah, from what I'm being told, Kudus is a player that could come in with quality, somebody that could come in and fill that void. So I do think that if somebody was to come in now, you think if somebody was to come in January with a huge bid for Jared Bowen, and he's got 18 months left on his contract, and he's saying, I'm not signing another one, we'll sell him. And if we've got Mohamed Kudus, somebody who can slot in there on the right-hand side and be as effective or potentially better, well, we'll have to wait and see on that. We don't know how he's going to adapt to the Premier League. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that. So as it stands at the moment, Bowen is not. He's been offered 2 or 3 contracts now, and he's not signing a contract. It's as simple as that. So I think they've given up on that. They're shelving it now until January, or they're going to see how the season goes, basically. They know they've got 2 years. But like I say, leaving it to that last year, it's a bit iffy, isn't it? It's a bit iffy. Next, we've got the SK Austria partnership. This is mind-blowing. The work that Tim Steiten has done since he's come in, which is just a matter of months, the work that he did with very little time in the transfer window, because we had to give David Moyes time to try and get his favourite players, Maguire, McTominay, burned through 75% of the transfer window chasing pointless targets. Then we went, Tim, go, Tim, go. He's off, flying around the world on his private jet. He's gone and got some fantastic players, some brilliant players. He's literally worked tirelessly. He flew out to Brazil to try and get the Alberto deal done. I think that was his name, Brazilian striker. Couldn't get that one over the line, but he's literally constantly, he's proactive, this guy. He's on it all the time. What he's done is because I think that he can see that there's no route through for youth players in our team. The under-21s is pointless. So if you get good young players in, like the likes of Ekwa, who we've had to let go to Sunderland, who's tearing it up at the moment, there's no pathway through for them. Whereas if you look at the Brighton model, Tony Bloom has got a team in Belgium, and what he does is he buys these players in on the cheap, and 9 times out of 10 he farms them out to that club, the good ones anyway. He cherry picks them, farms them out to that club. They develop them, he takes them back. They've done the same with Kamada. 3 million, send them out to Belgium, pull them back as a Premier League player. That's only what Tim Steiten's gone and done with SK Austria. I can't pronounce the second part of their name. But we've done exactly the same thing. So we've now got an agreement with SK Austria that we've already let a player go out there, haven't we? We've bought a player, loaned him out. We're going to be doing the same thing. So now we've got a pathway. We can go out, we can buy players for 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, which is Tim Steiten's real passion, is going out finding jewels and finding pearls. He's a pearl diver, isn't he? And sort of developing them and bringing them on. Maybe he can see that this isn't an environment, West Ham, we're probably a little bit too big to be blooding young players, and we definitely haven't got a manager that's going to take a risk on that. So what he's done is he's set up a partnership where he can go out and he can get these players in and he can send them out. He can send them out to SK Austria. Now, I can only imagine that we're going to have some sort of representation over there as well. Because obviously, if we're going to be sending out 2, 3, 4, 5 young players to go and play on loan with them, and they will use these players as well, then it's only right that we will have representation over there. So it's absolutely this is next level stuff. This is really, really proactive, professional stuff. Tim Schneiden is changing so much at this club, and again, this just feeds into my belief that this isn't a Sullivan idea. Because this wouldn't have been free to do this, to set this up. There will have been an agreement there. SK Austria are not the richest club in the world. I know we're looking after them with players, but you could do this with anyone. So there must have been a financial transaction there to set this association up, I would have thought. And who convinces Sullivan to waste money on something like that? What, buy players in and loan them out? Who does that? Sullivan ain't agreeing to that, is he? So again, this does feed into the idea that Tim Schneiden isn't actually working for Sullivan, if you like. I still can't believe it. If Sullivan has employed him and he's given him the go-ahead to go and make all these changes, then Sullivan is going to deserve an absolute pat on the back, because we're transforming the way that we're running the club. But I've seen nothing historically. The trend suggests that, I'm sorry, I can't see that this is Sullivan-led. But time will tell. We'll find out. Like I say, we know that there are parties sniffing around at the moment, looking at buying the club. We know that the shares are held in probate. We've already done a video on this. You've got the Qataris. There's American investors. There's also British-led investors as well that are interested in buying the club. But if the Qataris are involved, the Qataris will win any bid against who they're going to be bidding against, because they've got so much money. But look, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Sullivan's going to be true to his word. Maybe Tim Schneiden was a Sullivan pick, and he brought him in as out of due diligence because he's acknowledged that he's not very good at running that side of things. He isn't a director of football. He's made mistakes in the past, and he's gone out and he's gone and got a top man, a great man that he would never have heard of, to come in and run that aspect of the business. Look, listen, if he's done that, then we're going to have to credit him massively, and I will credit him, because it's to identify your weaknesses and address it is a sign of stronger leadership than what we've seen in the past. So we shall see. Time will tell. But no, I can't believe that it's Sullivan. Well done, Tim. Anyway, keep up the good work. The next one. Moyes versus Southgate fan opinion. Well, what's this all about? Well, what I did on Twitter, I dropped a little grenade. As we know, the Moyes cultists are very, very aggressive in their defence of David Moyes and his playing style. But I'm seeing on Twitter the same people being uber critical of Southgate for his playing style, for his favouritism to players. The same people. So I dropped a bomb and I asked a question, and I can't remember exactly what the question was, but it was along the lines of, for all of those West Ham fans that defend David Moyes' playing style and his favouritism to players, to those that feel differently about Gareth Southgate, why is that? What is the difference? Do you know what? All I got back was, well, Moyes has won a trophy. That was it. 3 years in Europe, Moyes has won a trophy. What's Southgate won? I mean, he's only got one chance every 2 years to win something. Now, listen, I don't want Southgate any more than I want David Moyes. I don't care as much about England, I've got to be honest. But no, I don't want Southgate in charge of England. I think it's absolutely crazy, to be honest. I think Maguire wasn't good enough for West Ham. He's definitely not good enough for England. If you look at the centre-backs they've had in the past, Man United, for instance, they've had Jap Stam, Vidic, Rio Ferdinand. You can't even mention Maguire in the same breath, and he's their captain. He's not good enough to be the Man United captain. He's not good enough to be our captain. And he definitely ain't fucking good enough to be playing as the main centre-back for England, a team with all of the talent that we've got to choose from. So no, I am definitely Southgate out, Gareth out. But I'm also Moyes out for the same reasons, because I get frustrated with the favouritism and the negative style. I've already done a video on this. I'm not going to go over it again. But it was funny. I didn't really get any good responses. There was a couple, if I'm being fair. But no one could really explain it, especially the ones that are being aggressively Southgate out. It's a bit of a funny one, I thought. I just thought I'd wind people up. The other one, we've seen channels and we've seen reports that David Moyes is going to be offered a new 4-year deal if he keeps up the good work. Early. He's going to be offered it early, after Christmas, so we're being told. Now, I've done some digging on this, and I'm told it's utter bollocks. It isn't going to happen. For a start, you've only got to look historically. Sullivan has never, ever done that. Ever. He waits for a manager's contract to expire, then he offers them a new one. That's how it works with managers. I don't care what anyone says, even the ones that love David Moyes. Teams are not going to be queuing up around the block to take David Moyes away from West Ham. Certainly nobody bigger than West Ham is going to be queuing up for David Moyes to come into their club and implement Moyes ball. No, they're not. There is no risk. So I'm not saying he won't get a new contract if he does well and we get Europe again next year, either through winning a cup or through our league position. But there is no fucking way that they are going to renew his contract early. And nor should they. Nor should they. You know, we've had 18 months last year in the league, which were crap. You can't then, on the back of 1 or 2 months, just completely discard that and go, oh, yeah, that's great. Here you go, Dave, 4-year contract. All of a sudden, results start falling off again. We start looking like shit. We're stuck with David Moyes for 4 years, or they've got to pay him off massively. We don't have to do it. There is no reason why. The only argument for giving David Moyes a contract would be if David Moyes couldn't attract players. Well, we've solved that problem by getting Tim in. Tim's attracting the players. And getting coaching staff. He's gone and got the coaching staff. We don't need to do it. We've got the players now. We've got the squad. Doesn't matter. You might have an argument, as I said earlier on in the video, with Bowen. You know, if that's true, if Bowen is true to his word, and if a more progressive manager comes in and we play a different style of football, then Bowen will sign a contract. Maybe that's good enough reason. I don't know. But it's probably not, because we'll just cash in on Bowen and we'll look for the next player. I don't want to. I think Bowen's a great player. But yeah, look, so no, David Moyes is not getting a new deal. So stop fucking winding me up. I just feel like that's like personal attacks on me when people make videos like that. He's not getting a new deal. It's been a slow couple of weeks. People are talking bollocks. He ain't. He might do it at the end of the year, but he's going to have to earn it. He's going to have to earn it. But anyway, look, that is it from me. So I don't think we're going to be back anymore this week. Gary was going to do a video today, but he's rammed with work. I've recorded this video early morning. So I've recorded it at 7. I just don't release it until a bit later because it's really slow at the moment. So none of you gets are watching anything. So I'll leave it until a bit later, and then hopefully it'll pick up a bit more traction. But yeah, look, if you did enjoy it, and if you got any comments, drop any comments on any of the talking points that we've gone through today. Please don't forget to drop a like on the video, and we will be back soon. All right, cover your heads.